Survivor's ready. Go!
Travis spoken.
Boston Rob and Amber are gonna do it.
This is a business trip, as I like to say.
You, Brad Culpepper.
I'm tired of you and the fucking chicken.
You can call me the puppet master. They can be my little puppets.
It's not like you're making a deal with the devil here.
You get to milk your own milk, I guess.
Who the hell voted for me?
Chicken.
We got enough rocks here, too. We could build a pretty decent shelter just using rocks.
I'm supposed to talk glamour to you. You understand that better?
Direct from Hobart, it's time for the only Survivor podcast in Australia dedicated to Survivor, bringing you all the latest interviews, episodes and opinions from the greatest reality show on the planet. It's Survivor Oz, and here's your host, Ben Waterworth.
It's Survivor Oz, Australia's #1 TV and film podcast, as we continue on our Survivor Second Chance campaign interviews, and it is a huge pleasure to be able to welcome our next guest back to the show. Very good friend of ours here at Survivor Oz, has been on plenty of times, spent an entire season with us doing power rankings a couple of seasons ago, and he is one person who I feel the words second chance really do suit for him going back for another time. It is, of course, from Survivor One World, Troyzan Robertson. Troyzan, welcome back to Survivor Oz.
Ben, how is it going, buddy?
Going well, mate. We had you on, about 2 or 3 weeks ago? This just feels like you haven't left.
I know. Well, I mean, I knew then, but I thought to myself, can I drop any hints? I mean, maybe I better be careful. So I'd like...
I was trying. I was thinking of ways I could subtly bring it in, but,
You're speaking in code, and I'm like, maybe he could pick up...
Well,
I mean, at that point, a majority of people kind of knew we were on some lists and things. So it's like, it wasn't like it was, it was leaked out, obviously, by CBS, because, I mean, how else is someone going to know, like, every name to the exact team?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was out there for a while, actually, and I think the one that was out there for a long time, there was a list of 40 people, actually, not 32, so they cut it back down, because I know on the initial list of 40, someone like Chelsea was on the list we saw, so,
Chelsea's on the list. Chelsea actually was on the main list right up until, I don't know, a week before, and then she got cut.
Oh, really? Oh.
She did get cut, but she was, on a list, and so I think they cut, like, 8 people or something like that really were, like, finalists, that had, like, gone through the process where you really... you go to Los Angeles and you retake your tests and you get your shots and you do all that,
Yeah, it's fascinating to see that sort of those ones. I mean, Chelsea would be someone I'd love to have seen back out there. And still, we've got 2 representatives from One World, Troyzan, including yourself, mate. And again, something I always bring up with you, how close you've been to returning. But here we are. This is it. The fans. We can vote for you, Troyzan. How are you feeling?
That's it, man. Come on, Australia. If I got all of Australia to vote, I'm in.
23 million of us. Done. I'll get it organised.
And what? You got at least a couple. You got like at least 500,000, a million in Tasmania.
Yeah, 500,000. That sounds about
right. There you
right.
go. I mean, come on, man. It's like, seriously. I mean, they might be shocked. Like if I got the number 1 votes in all of Oz. Oh my God, that'd be. I would swear to God, I will fly down to Australia, and I will do a full campaign if I had to.
Do it. Look, we'd love that, actually.
Only got a week to go, so I don't know if it's going to work, but it's like, once I get on and I do well, I'm coming down.
Well,
100%.
we're saying to everybody, Troyzan, when you go out there and win, of course, come out here and you can do your winner's interview in person with us. So,
I would love
spend that $1 million. But I guess kind of it's, it's been a worst-kept secret in a way. It's all out there. You guys have got a couple of weeks of campaign. How are you finding it all now? Particularly now it's only a week to go. I mean, it's sort of gone by quite quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah, now with the week, it's kind of like it really starts to get intense. I woke up this morning like, God, I'm only a week away from like flying out to Cambodia. Or a week away from like sitting in an audience where you're I feel confident, and I think all of us probably feel confident we're going to go back. But part of us are also looking and saying, well, there's only 10 spots, and 6 guys are not going. So, I don't, God forbid, I don't want that to be me. So the nerves start to break in a little bit more. You just, we're all real, people, and we all, get nervous just like anybody else that would be campaigning for something for votes, yeah, I mean, mine's more of an excited, I just get fired up to know that I really can go play again. It's like, it's almost, I can't, it's just, I'm very emotional about it. I get fired up, but I'm emotional because it's a huge part of my life. It's been a part of my life since the year 2000, since I've watched the very first season, and I'm just, I'm invested in it. I think about this show. I mean, the word survivor pops into my brain almost every second of every day. There's something that happens or that I do, or it's like it's part of my it's part of my life.
Is your ringtone on your phone the Survivor theme?
It actually is.
There you go.
It is my ringtone. How'd you know that? Did I tell you that before?
Yeah, look, I'm just sneakily hanging around there, Troy. I just hear your phone ring all the time. What can I say?
Okay. I bend up my ringtone.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's on my iPod when I swim.
You just put the entire soundtrack, so you got some Russ Landau music in the background, pumping yourself up.
100%, man.
But I mean, have you ever had to campaign for anything like this? Like, back in high school, did you sort of run for class president or something like this, or is this all new to you?
Well, I mean, I remember I think it was 6th grade, I ran for vice president of the class or something, and it was a private school, with 32 kids, and I remember I helped a guy campaign in high school for the president of the school, but not for myself, nothing big like this where you really have to, you go on Twitter and you do interviews. And I mean, I did a radio interview here and, just, thinking if this vote, it really is 100%, the public vote, then maybe I really should do something big, it's like, so, I've been doing everything I can, talking to local news and some of the national media, and you do everything you can, but it's kind of stressful. I can't imagine doing this like a president where you do it for 3 years. Oh my God, you'd be dead at the end of it.
Yeah, it must be fascinating, I guess, with sort of a lot of the mainstream media and that, because I mean, Survivor obviously is a show that's still out there in the public. It's still popular, but I mean, not as popular as it once was. But have you found sort of local radio, local TV, they've sort of really been invested in you, Troy, and trying to get you back out there on the show?
Well, yeah, I had a local radio station call me yesterday, and then there's the local newspaper, and then there's the local CBS, that wants to do a story. But, but I've got Sports Illustrated behind me, so that's huge, and they talked to me yesterday and say, hey, we're going to do a story on you. We're going to, put it on the website. We're totally backing you. I'm like, really? I'm like, awesome. And they've got like a crap load of people that follow them. I mean, so I don't know how many million, but if I could just get a certain percentage of that, and they'll keep that posted up, throughout the whole week.
Yeah.
So, and I've got a lot of the girls from the swimsuit issue that they're all supporting me and they're making tweets and doing what they can. So, you do what you can.
It's all paying off. All these, hard days of taking pictures of women in bikinis finally is paying off for something, Troyzan.
Yeah, well, it's funny because, too, some people are like, in a sense, it seems, a bit egotistical to promote yourself. Look at me, and it's like, I don't know if the other, candidates feel like that, like, God, I want to pump myself up every day, like, look at me, look how great I am, this is why I should go back, it feels kind of like, and I put photos up with me and the swimsuit girls, because if that gets someone attention, hey, fine.
Yeah.
And I've got pictures. I guess for me, it's like, I'm thinking, what is it going to take? What do I have to use to my advantage? And if I have it, I'm going to use it. If I have a picture with me and Derek Jeter from the New York Yankees, I'm going to post it and say, hey, Derek is a big fan. He watches the show, and he supports Troyzan. I mean, I had Sandra Diaz.
Yes, I saw that.
Yesterday. She's freaking promotes me.
Yeah.
She didn't promote anybody else. Me. Endorsed me. Fine. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I will take it. I mean, that's huge to me. She won it twice. Who else? I mean, I'm not sure who else is bigger than that. So, and Kim's behind me. She tweeted out something. So and Lex from Africa, you know, he actually said something to me. Believe it or not, Russell Hance even is you know, he said he's voting for him.
Hang on a minute, you're not a blonde female, Troy. What's going on there, Russell?
I know. Maybe he's thinking there's some kind of way to connect, you know, to the swimsuit.
Yeah, I reckon that's it. He saw the photo. That's what he's like. Oh wait, boobs. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's I mean, it's a fascinating time, sort of how it's all happening, and as a great man from your season once said, Troyzan, the game is afoot.
Yes, the game is afoot, and it's all a quantum entanglement.
Yes. Hello to Tarzan if he's listening. But I mean, is it when it comes to sort of everything that's happening social media wise and that, is it kind of hard to be able to really take your mind out of these mind games? Not necessarily just from the contestants themselves, but a lot of fans and former contestants are trying to really have a say here with other ways, not just promoting people.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard to, like, every day to stay up with it. Like, if you really want, you know, like I said, if this truly is the vote only, then, you know, we need to be look at, you know, Twitter all the time and Facebook and you know, constantly try to get on interviews and do what we can and see what other people are doing and seeing what other people are saying. I'm sure that's what we're all doing, or a majority are, like, listening in. Someone from this season is gonna listen in on this interview. Like, well, what is Troyzan saying? What's he doing?
Hi, Michaela.
You know, what's his plans? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so interesting. I mean, this is what's so great about how it's so open, because I mean, this is the first time we all know who the cast will be, obviously, and really have an opportunity there to see it all out there. And you, of course, Troyzan, I mean, you know who you're up against in terms of votes, and I'm sure there's people on the list that you're looking at going, hey, if I'm out there on the island and I'm playing with this person, I want to be with them if I can, or I want to avoid that person. I mean, are you really sort of analysing that aspect of it as well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I look at the list, and you know, normally when you look at a list, you'll be like, well, who's in my category? You know, but I don't know if they really have a big category. There's a lot of guys in my category. There's a lot of, you know, guys from in their 40s and 50s, you know, that on that list. So it's like, how many are going to make that, you know, if that's really what it's based on, you know? That's why I think, like, how can it possibly be based solely on a vote? You know, they got to have young, old, you know, different ethnic. So I don't grasp it. I don't know. I don't get
the diversity level there, I guess.
Yes, yeah, that's why Survivor works. That's the way they've been doing it for years. That's why Survivor stayed on the air. Casting knows what they're doing. So they're just really going to leave it up to the public, you know?
It's an interesting thing, because, I mean, if you look at the ages, particularly as you're mentioning, like, for example, under 30s, there's only 6 under 30s on the list, and only 2 of them are male. So are they only going to have 2 younger men? What if none of them, what if, you know, Spencer and Joe don't get the votes?
Well, I'm just saying, like, what happens if, like, why leave it up to picking men and women? Why don't you just leave it up to a vote? Because then you'd really see who wants to, you know, what if all the women got millions of votes and a bunch of guys just got a few 10,000 votes?
Yeah.
You know, and 16 women got more votes than the guys. Is that fair? Or not? Or what if it was vice versa?
Yeah.
You know, all the men got all the votes. No one's going to watch that. So it's like they have to be able to choose who they're going to choose. They have to. I can't believe that it'll be based on the vote. But, you know, hey, I'm doing the vote thing, so I'm campaigning as hard as I can, you know. And I still feel like this. I feel like when Survivor came out with their 30th season magazine, and they came up with, like, who's the best player of all time and who's the sexiest and this and that. And they did what's the most memorable moments. And mine was the 7th most memorable moment of all time.
Yep.
I'm not bragging about it. I'm not boasting. But listen, if I have the most memorable moment of all time, how can I not play again being the most memorable person? I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it was a very iconic moment, and straight away, I think for the most part, and you know, I've defended your season a lot, Troyzan. I don't have to sit here to say how much I love your season, but I think if people think of your season who don't necessarily like your season, one of the first things, maybe the first thing they think of is, this is my island. So
right,
yeah.
Well, I mean, and this is another funny thing that people that watch the show and have watched me, they only know me from a 10-minute clip out of all of the episodes of all of the days. You know, if you watched before, I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy that, you know, they think, oh, that's the guy who's crazy, he hates girls, and he's like, you know, lost his mind, he's an egotistical bastard. I'm like, no, they backstabbed me. I was fine up until then. You know, it's like, and I'm really a little more of a happy-go-lucky guy, and I'm an easy guy to get along with until you push me. So it's just funny that people only think like, oh, Troyzan, yeah, he's, you know, this is who he is because of this little section. Granted, I'm glad I said it because everyone remembers it, you know. So I just feel like take all the other candidates and give me their best moment, their most memorable moment.
There's
where would it rank in the best moments of all time in Survivor? Let's just lay that on the line. I would say that in a debate, if they put us all 32 people up there on the stage, I'd say, which one of you people have the most memorable moment of all time? Anybody of all? No. Okay. What's your most memorable moment? Name it off, and I would name mine. And guess what? I think that I would win.
Yeah. I mean, those Michaela Wingle moments are just standing out to me right now, Troyzan, big time.
Well, yeah, they are. I mean, I'm just saying, like, okay, that's big. So she would have, you know, to me, it's like if her moment stands out, you know, this is what like the fans and the public, you know, to me, it's like, look at the person. Do you remember what they did, and did they stand out? Were they characters, or were they like one moment in time, and just, or you know, or do you even remember? Do you have to go back and look at their season and go, oh, that's who they were?
Yeah,
you know.
It's interesting, and I guess kind of there's different types of fans too who vote for this, as you were saying, like having, you know, the so-called casual fans would have to go back, as you said, and sort of see who they are. Oh, that's who they are. But then, of course, you've got your super fans who, you know, we straight away look at a list and go, oh, yeah, that person, that person, that person. Yourself, you're a super fan, Troyzan. So, I mean, you're looking at this list too going, Kelly Wigglesworth, you know, Jeff Varner, T-Bird. I remember these people like it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, I know all the names. It's like, you know, if you say Kelly Wigglesworth, I'm voting for Kelly because she's from season 1. I feel like season 1 was the season that got it all started. That alone, to me, you've got to put anybody that would be up from season 1 back on.
I agree.
So, you know, but to me, this is so. Is it the super fan voting? And the big fans, and then the casual fans not? Or what is it, you know? So we really have to, I'm basing it on, like, listen, all the super fans are voting, and they're voting all the time. And all the big fans are voting, and the casual fans are maybe voting, you know, and maybe one time, or not, maybe they're not even voting at all. Because they just like to watch the show. They like to flip on the television at 8 o'clock and go, you know, watch the show, and past that, they don't ever go on a website. They never listen to a podcast. They don't do any of that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big fan, but I watched the show, but I didn't go to every single podcast and every single website and check out every little last detail of Survivor and know, you know, which challenge was on season 7 of episode 4 and all of this. I just didn't. And I think the majority of the people that watch the show aren't like the major super fan. They're big, you know, they love watching it. But I don't know if they're ones that are actually going to be voting.
Yeah.
So to base my campaign on, like, I'm talking to, you know, the big fans and then the super fans.
It's kind of a strategic element even in the campaigning in that aspect, isn't it? Because you've got to be able to target it at the people who, at the end of the day, are going to be voting and you know, creating multiple accounts, perhaps, Troyzan, to be able to vote more than once a day and things like that.
Right. Yeah, no, it's like, it makes sense. I mean, that's why I'll do podcasts. I know that people will listen to podcasts, you know. I'm not going to, and the thing is, like, it's just, it's just one of those things that you feel like you've got to do if, and I really want to play. So if those are the rules, if it's the vote, hey, and I'm doing whatever I can to get on, whatever is humanly possible. And if even if it wasn't the vote and they're faking me out, so what? I'm still invested in Survivor, it's still fun for me to interact with the fans. And, they like to, people are like, wow, he's coming on our website. He's going to ask for questions. It's like, well, yeah, I'm just, I'm pretty much human like you. I'm just sitting in a regular office at a computer like everybody else, by myself. I don't have some team around me.
Yeah, it was a bit of a task to go through your multiple assistants and agents, Troyzan, to get this interview lined up today. But, besides that, you're just still Troyzan from the block.
Exactly. But I told him it's Ben. He gets a 5-star. He gets right through.
Yeah, I've got that special calling card because I know your ringtone. So
yeah, exactly.
It just goes through. I'm just thinking extra campaign methods, like a giant Troyzan blimp over Miami, or
Well, yeah, it's like I had the giant Troyzan, the Winnebago, the Xanabago, going around with the giant signs on the back, the return of Troyzan, the second coming of Troyzan.
I want to see campaign election ads. I want to see you there going Jeff Varner doesn't care about Survivor. He only cares about himself. This message is supported and authorized by Troyzan Robertson. Or show them in the past burning their buff or something. They don't crap Survivor. Well, look at him. He doesn't. That's the last time you watched an episode. It's Cass McQuillan doesn't speak llama. Do you want that person on your screen?
Yeah, all the dirty campaigns. That would be classic.
Yes. I haven't seen that yet. So
I wish. It's I wish I could get somebody that's one of these guys who goes on YouTube or splices together videos, and that would be classic if he could put together some video where it's it looks like a fake campaign where we're talking to each other, yelling, it's
There we go. There's a project out there.
I've seen it where actually the NFL here, the National Football League, they did a thing where they took clips from the games, the silent, and they show the person's mouth moving, but they add their own what they're actually, somebody voices over what they're saying. Is hilarious.
Yeah.
They'll be saying a play, but they're going, I want a cheeseburger and a hot dog, a cheeseburger and a hot dog. And so I wish someone would do that with ours. Well, they show us yelling, I'm yelling my eye, but I'm really, this is my campaign. This is my Winnebago.
There we go. There's people listening to this out there, I'm sure, Troy, who can do that. So,
well, someone put it together because I want to see it.
Yeah. There is somebody I know on YouTube who does a episode each week where it's kind of Survivor in 30 seconds or something, and they take stills of the tribal council and add speech bubbles to it. But yeah, no, it would be a good idea. So people out there, video skills, get onto it. Listen, it will help Troyzan get out there and say it is his island. So he's not going to Samoa anymore, so that's his island there.
I want to hear what my voice sounds like with somebody else's voice. My face with somebody else's voice.
Now, in terms of obviously the cast as well, Sabrina, of course, from One World is also on the list. So, it must be good to be able to see at least another One Worlder out there, and you're not the only solitary one. So, all things go to plan. You've got Sabrina there in case things work out that way, of course, Troyzan.
Well, I guess yes and no. Yes, she's from my season. No, because someone's going to connect us and think we're 100% in, and that's really not the case, because I'm really going in 100% free agent in a sense. Granted, I've met some of these people, through charity events or different places that we've been, but there's nobody that's I'm a super close friend with where I really have this super alliance going. I don't think anybody does. People have realized and maybe they've heard it from the past, that just this pregame, talk and pregame alliance, calling every single person that I can is not a good thing. It just doesn't work, because when you get out there, it's well, I thought you were with me, and then I find out that you called such and such, and then they called you. Is that true? And then you get yourself caught in a lie. It's stupid. So, I know Sabrina. We've texted and both congratulated each other, but I haven't said, listen, what's your strategy? What do you plan on doing? We're teamed up together, because we're not. And we really weren't out on the show in the first place, in my first season. Sabrina was with the girls in the beginning. Then we switched. We were on the same tribe for all of a week, but I never strategized with her. I strategized with Kim and Chelsea, mostly Kim, So I don't really know what her plans are. So it's not, I'm with anybody that wants to be with me, and if they want me to be with them, hey, I don't think anybody's totally rooting okay, we got a plan to take this person out. And I think I've been through this process before, and it's not like there's groups of 5 and 6 people doing conference calls saying we're aligned, we're 100% in. For one, they don't even know if they're going to be on the same tribe. They don't even know if they're in. So I don't even know if Sabrina's going to play.
Yeah.
So, and I don't even know if contestant A or B are going to play, or even going to be on my tribe. So for me to do any kind of major strategy stuff would be stupid. I'm going to talk to them when I get out there.
Yeah. Don't have to name names. I don't expect you to name names, of course, Troyzan. But have there been approaches? Have people tried to do things with you before this has even started?
Yeah, little hints. It's some people will. I've had people send texts, but they're all just congratulations, man. It's kind of I'm a big fan of yours. Hope to see you out there. I think it's just a cordial way to say listen, I want you to know that I reached out, and of course I'm gonna respond back. Hey, that's great, blah blah blah. But nothing's been said, where it's solid. You're solid in stone. You're someone. Everybody would be done to say, yeah, you're my number one all the way to the end, because this is, what I have heard from the past, it just doesn't work,
Yeah.
And I think poverty has even said it, to everybody, listen, it just doesn't work, I think Tyson said that too on a podcast. It's I'm not into this, I just think this pregame alliance stuff does not work.
Yeah.
Even Lynn Spillman said, listen, I know it goes on, you can do it. She goes, my advice is just don't get into it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just listening to everybody that's done it before and doing it. I'm listen, I'm not going to do this major strategy thing. If someone wants to reach out and call me or text me or email me, I'm great. I'm on everybody's side. I think we all have a good chance. I think everyone, is playing to win, but I don't think they're going overboard with strategy right now.
I think it would be interesting if somebody did the opposite. Instead of sort of reaching out and being hey, great to see you on, if they sent you a message fuck off, I don't want to see you out there, go away.
Well, I'm waiting for somebody yet to just totally say, I've got this person, this person, this person, this person. We're taking out this person, right off the bat. Although, but if they did that, that'd be completely ridiculous, because then they're putting a major target on their own back. Mm-hmm. So no one's going to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one's going to say, we're smart enough to know, listen, even in interviews, people are going to ask us questions that are what's your main strategy? And we're going to say
I'm just going to rip that question up. That was my next one, so I'll throw that one away. Thanks, Troyzan. But no, it's in all seriousness, though. I guess it's a question a lot of people are asking you in these interviews, and I'm going to ask it too. I'll just be a complete sheep in the herd. When you go out there, I'm just going to say when, not if. Are there elements to your game and key changes that you're thinking of making, and really changing it up from your first time that you played?
Well, yeah. Once you play once, you understand how the whole game works. It's for me, when I first got there, from day 1 and 2, I was just the, deer caught in the headlights. I just didn't even know what to do, what to expect. I didn't know really how to socialize like you have to in the game. I pretty much acted like myself, like I do in real life. It's I'm attracted to certain people and certain, in certain environments, and you just connect right away, almost like with a look, because you'll see these people in Ponderosa before you go play. So you're kind of almost like, if someone smiles at you, just a smile is more than just like where someone doesn't smile at you at all. So you're like, that person smiled at me. I'm going to walk up to them first and shake their hand. And I'm going to see how they shake my hand and what they say. If someone's walking around really paranoid and nervous, you're like, oh God, that person, I don't know, man. So, those are the things you learn, just from being there. So I'm just going to base it on what I experienced with 17 strangers last time. And then I'm going to, be with 19 strangers this time. So, but the thing is, it would be difficult, and it would almost be ridiculous to say my strategy is this, because these are all completely different people than what I played with last time. So I can't say I'm going to play exactly like I did last time up until a certain point and then change, I need to see what the personalities are in order to play. It's like play, if you're going to, in any sport, if I'm going to go play a football game, I might study what the team did the week before, but they're going to come out completely different because they know that I'm different.
Yeah.
They're going to play against me differently than they did the past person. So it's all kind of a new deal.
And I guess it's always easy to analyse people because, again, as you said, like you've seen these people play their one time, but, someone say like, a Natalie Tenorelli, like, this sweet, nice girl we saw in Redemption Island, she could come out and be a mega bitch second time around. So, like, you don't know.
Well, she could. And the thing is, she's not playing with Boston Rob.
Yeah.
So she's going to play different than she did before. So it'd be ridiculous for any of us to think that Natalie's going to come out there, cling herself to, someone that's played before, an older gentleman than her, and just do that all the way to the end, and then sit there at tribal council. That's completely ridiculous to think that's going to happen, because it's not, And it'd be dumb for people to think that I'm going to go out there on, day 30 and win a challenge and scream, "This is my island." I'm not going to do it.
Oh, come on. You can. Come on. For reminiscing sakes.
Maybe I'll do it under my breath.
I just can see it now. You just have this little whisper like, "This is my island," and Jeff will be like, "Troyzan, still saying it's his island."
Yeah, what'd you say?
Say that to the camera, Troyzan. We can't hear you.
It's like, is Shane going to pick up a piece of wood and start acting like it's his BlackBerry? No, he's not. He's going to do other stuff that's probably crazier, but
it's an iPhone now, Troy. Then, like we've developed.
It's an iPhone. So it's like, maybe he'll find a bigger piece of wood and treat it as an iPad.
Yes,
that would be classic.
Modern technology. Yes, or like an iWatch. He'll get like a piece of bamboo and wrap it around his wrist or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he does his own radio show now, so maybe he's going to be out there and kind of going back to like the Marquesas days when they had their morning show, and keep you guys entertained that way.
Yeah.
Steven, of course, does Rob as a podcast. So
that'd be great. We make 2 microphones. We have a little podcast every morning.
Hey, look, and when you get back, we can start hearing live from my apartment. It's Troyzan has a podcast.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I'd listen. I think we all would. You could call it This Is My Island Podcast. Simple.
Yeah. This is my podcast.
Yes, indeed. Now, again, sort of not necessarily expecting you to name names, but I mean, there are people, no doubt, on this list that are standing out to you as people that you could see yourself working with or perhaps avoiding if the opportunity arose?
Well, oddly enough, I can see myself working with any one of them. I mean, I've looked at all of them. I watched all of their videos. They're all passionate. They're all fired. They're all very good, too. I mean, the videos are good. Their pictures are good. I look like a complete wacko in my picture. I look like I'm some stoner from the 70s. I don't know what happened to that picture. Jesus. That's probably the worst picture I've taken in 10 years. And, of course, it's all over the whole world now. It's like, well, Jesus Christ, couldn't you find a better picture? But no, I could work with any one of these people, seriously, and it makes sense that I would at least try. I have no one on that list that I would go, oh my God, that's a disaster.
I love that description of the photo. I'm just actually looking at all the people's pictures because, like, Spencer looks like he's like still in grade 6 or something. Wu looks like he's got like the best, most stylish haircut ever.
He's styled that hair. I mean, I woke up out of bed when they called me. It's like, you gotta go down and take pictures. I'm like, well, should I comb my hair? No, come on down. It was, my eyes were watering because it was cold from the air conditioning in that room. I'm like, oh my God, it's like my eyes are red, my hair is all. It's like I look like a scrapper.
Well, I like the fact that, like, we see Max's beard's grown about an extra, 5 inches, and Keith looks fantastic. He's like slicked his hair back and his beard and he's all done himself up. It's like he's gone to church or something.
Yeah. He kind of looks stunned a little bit too. Like you really taking a picture? I mean, the pictures, the men's pictures aren't the most becoming photos I've ever seen.
It's actually interesting because looking at a lot of the people, sort of how they've changed over the years, it's like you can see it a lot in the men, but for the most part, I feel all the females' photos, like none of them look like they've changed a bit since when they first played. So.
Well, no. To me, Kelly Wigglesworth does look different.
She looks amazing, though. Can we just point that out?
Yeah, I actually think she looks better now than she did.
Yeah.
When she played, I do.
Yeah, and Kimmy looks like she hasn't aged a day in 15 years.
I think a lot of the girls, they're all look good. I mean, Monica's pretty hot too.
Yeah. I was talking when you're saying about Natalie, like, if she would, cuddle up to an older gentleman. I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't be complaining if, that happened. If you were in that position, Troyzan, I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to turn that down. If any of those women are going to be cold at night, I'm definitely, up for the spoon.
Yes, we'll look out for that. We're giving everybody the opportunity, Troyzan, towards the end, of course, to have the floor. Spruik yourself out there and really talk to the voters. So I want to give you that opportunity now, mate. The floor is yours. Speak to the listeners, speak to the voters. Why do they need to vote for Troyzan?
Well, guys, I have been invested in Survivor. I said this before. Since the very first time I saw the very first show back in the year 2000, Richard Hatch and Kelly and all, Richard's running around naked and this, they're eating rats, and it's just like I was struck. My eyeballs just popped out of my head and said, whatever this is, I got to be a part of it. It took me 11 years to get on, my first season. I had a blast doing it, but I feel like there's just unfinished business. I feel like I played as best as I could, with the people I had, but I felt like I played with people that didn't know the game. And this time everybody knows the game. And, if you loved what you saw last time, you're going to see more of it. I'm as passionate as it can get. I mean, there's not a day that goes by. I should say there's not a second that goes by that I do not think about this show and going back. It's part of my life. I mean, I still wear my buffs around. I still wear hats that say Survivor. People will say, you're still wearing your buffs? I'm like, of course, this is like a big deal for me. And I just feel like you haven't seen all of me. I got to play for 30 days. And the one thing that really is key to me, and it still kills me. Sometimes I can't even talk about it, and I still can't even watch the episode. It's the episode where I would have got to see my brother. He was a day away, from seeing me, and I missed that by a day. And it's like I need to get my brother back out there so I can see that. It would be the world to me. We're very close. My family's super close, but there's just something about seeing your family member out there that I can't describe. I don't know if I can even describe to you guys what it feels like to have a family member. And I need to go. I need to have that experience, and I haven't had it. And to sit in a final 3 would just be a dream come true. I've done everything I can in this show. I've won challenges, individual and team. Immunity challenges, reward challenges. I've found hidden immunity idols. I've named a tribe after my monkey, Tikiano. I've done about everything I can in this show except, meet a loved one and get to a final tribal council, a final 2 or final 3. So I'm hoping for your vote. If you guys are on the fence, whoever's on the fence, I hope you're climbing over to the Troyzan side, and I will do my best to make you guys, happy and excited to turn on the TV each week. And that's it, man. Let's do this thing.
Perfect. And I just had a brilliant thought. When you're in that final 3 and you're about to win the season, Troyzan, you can open up with, a great man once said the game is afoot. An even greater man said, this is my island. And tonight you can make that true.
Oh my God! Well, that
just won you $1 million, Troyzan. I expect like a 1% cut after you win.
Okay, buddy. I owe you big time, man. I'm not sure what I can get you.
Mate, it's always a pleasure having you here on this show, mate. As I said to you at the top of the show, you're a good friend of ours here on the show. You've done a lot with us over the past, and we will feel like a little bit of Survivor Oz is represented out there should you make it. So best of luck, and we hope to get you back on afterwards to talk about your win on season 31.
Yes, I would love it, man. I appreciate that a lot, Ben, and I really, really, and there's no bullshit. I love Australia. I love Australians. You guys, if you can help me out, I would appreciate it. It's going to be fantastic.
Troyzan Robertson, ladies and gentlemen, always a huge thrill to have him on the show. And again, vote him on the show. I think a lot of people probably think, they say we suck up a lot on this show, but I can tell you one thing, that Troyzan is always on my ballot. I love One World, and I'm not going to ignore the One Worlders. I'm voting for both Sabrina and Troyzan every time I put in my votes. So, definitely go out there, vote for him, get him on the season, and see him say all about his island once again, no doubt. As I've been saying at the end of all the Second Chance interviews, more are lined up, so get excited. There will be listener questions available for some of the contestants, the ones who have not appeared on the show previously, so stay tuned for those. And of course, you can download all of them via survivoroz.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes, easiest way to get them directly to whatever device you listen to the podcast on. Though, it is time to leave you. I do thank you once again for all your support of the show, and it does mean a lot that you tune in each time and leave feedback and send us both positive and negative comments. So thank you very much. My name is Ben, the Tribe has spoken. Thank you for tuning in once again to Survivor Oz, and we'll speak to you next time on The Trains.